Okay, so in this video I'm going to be drawing a F-14 Tomcat just because I feel like it and planes are cool. So I've got my blank canvas, pencil brush, and I've got a reference of the F-14 up on my other screen above me, and then I'm just going to sketch it out now. So starting as rough as possible, just seeking out those main shapes. So just really lightly on the tablet. Don't worry about getting straight lines or anything yet. Get off my screen. So you've got one main shape here. So you're dividing your image into simple shapes. So there's one main shape of the cockpit here. We can get that in. And then you've got your wings. Extending outwards in a triangle shape here. And then there's another shape within the pattern of the wings I can put in. So as long as you're finding these shapes within the form, it helps you with the drawing. It's kind of like just putting a puzzle together that you're creating, if that makes any sense. So each line and each shape is a bit to the puzzle, and it will help you to capture the overall form. So there's the nozzle. Is it even called a nozzle? I don't know. And when it comes to painting this, I want it to be really, really rough, like an oil painting. I want it to be messy, but it's going to start off really messy, and then I'm going to bring some control into it. But I really want this one to I want to get a sense of movement with this one. So you're not just copying a photo like for like, you're turning it into a painting. So you're deciding what to detail, what not to detail. I'm just lowering the opacity there a little bit so it's a little bit lighter. When I edit this video, I'll put up the reference on the screen so you guys can see what I'm drawing. Hopefully it's going to somewhat resemble an F-14 Tomcat. Arguably my favourite plane. From the likes of the original Top Gun. And I think it made an appearance in the new Top Gun as well, didn't it? Great film. All shot for real. That's why it looks so good. So if we carry this leading line, this isn't even on the painting drawing that I'm looking at, but it'll help me work out where to add the next section. It's actually quite hard doing sketches on a tablet. It's a lot easier just doing it with pencil and paper, but then I have to get the sketch pad out and then scan it onto the computer. Too much effort for a Saturday evening. Start to work on the tail. It's got the really cool twin tail fins. So it starts like there. jet engines coming out. But the beauty of sketching in Photoshop is I can just chop and change bits, which I will be doing in a second, especially using the liquefy tool. You can do it, then basically turns your sketch into like a sculpture, and you can just shift bits to different areas to make it more accurate. Liquefy, my most used tool in Photoshop, 100%. Right, so that's wrong. Kind of ends about there. I don't know up to what standard I'm going to take this sketch, because it's obviously just going to get painted over anyway. Sometimes with stuff like this I just go straight in with the painting, but as it's like quite a complicated hard surface subject, and I figured it's probably better to start with a sketch. Start to put in the little metal beams coming through the cockpit. And then we can put in some cross contour lines now. So these little lines here, they're not actually on what I'm looking at, but it helps describe the form. So when it comes to painting, you can quite easily get that 3D look, because you've already described that that is supposed to be a cylinder. Ding, ding, ding. Little lines here. Put them in. I'm consciously trying to not stick my tongue out. I don't know why. Some people when they draw, like me, just end up going, sticking their tongue out. I remember at school people used to take the piss out of me for it. Stop sticking your tongue out. I can't help it. I don't think I do it so much anymore. It's just when I concentrate on something, the tongue just works its way out. That's where it holds its missiles. Right, I'm going to stretch this, put it in the center, and now let's use some liquefy. So yeah, so it basically turns your sketch into almost like a sculpture. You can just push it like you're pushing clay around. It's a really useful little tool, this. See, now I saw that corner there wasn't at the right angle, so I can push it back into the right angle. Same with this wing here. This needs to come out. So does this one. Just be careful, because when you push one bit, it might inadvertently push another section that you don't want, so keep an eye on that. But it's just a sketch, just laying down the foundations of the painting that's coming up. Alright, let's zoom in a little bit. Look, state of that sketch. It's disgusting. but that's what I said I wanted. I want to do a nice messy painting. It's going to get even messier. But that's what's great about digital painting, is you can do a messy painting without all the mess. I've literally just done some oil painting today and I'm just sick of clearing up afterwards. It just gets so messy. It's so hard to get off your hands as well. That's just my style though. I like to do these like abstract oil paintings where you just slap on loads of paint, smear it around with your hand. It's quite fun. I don't even really know what I'm painting. I'm just, I guess I'd call it abstract. But yeah, it's fun. I want to try and get some interest online and see if I can sell them. So they're not just sitting around. Because if they're hanging around, especially in my site, I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I wish I changed that. Whenever I do a painting, I literally like never look at it again. Otherwise, I'm just forever thinking I should have done a better job, or it's just an artist thing, isn't it? Perfectionists. Alright, this is one of the main leading lines. Bring that down. Start to pop in a few little details here and there. There's a shadow there. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, to move this over. Again, starting to put in a little bit of detail. Make those lines more accurate. That comes down to there. And then there's a line there. And then the other side. Like that. Try not to use any like perfectly straight lines either, because obviously, like I said, I want to get that painterly look, so it needs to be all freehand if possible. This is majorly inspired by one of my favourite artists, Paper Blue. If you haven't seen him, he's absolutely incredible. His vehicle work and aircraft work is just outstanding. It's got such like a chaotic look to it, but it looks so real at the same time. I think that's what I strive for in my art, is like kind of realness with detail, but then that real loose painterly look without it looking unfinished. It's really hard to achieve. Sometimes it just ends up too tight and then it just looks too much like whatever I'm drawing and not enough like a painting. I find like the kind of annoying thing about digital art is like you're forever trying to reverse engineer it so it looks like a traditional art, but I'd never be able to do the amount of work that I can do for my clients if I was doing it traditionally. It would just take too much time, and then you have to pay for materials, paints and stuff. So for me it's just not really practical. Looking all right. Another thing I like to do, flip the canvas. See, I've flipped it and I can clearly see the tail is wrong. It's at the wrong angle. So let's erase that. It's like a much steeper angle. Same with that one as well. Like that. Still doesn't look quite right. Oops. What have I done there? Go away. Still not the right angle. Oh, go away. Erase that. That's better. The engine comes out there, goes there. Do the flip test. Still a little bit weird, but definitely better. Sometimes you just get stuck on certain sections like this. It's funny. It's just at a weird angle. It's kind of hard to get your head around sometimes. I may just start painting in a minute and then worry about it later. Yeah, let's start painting. Screw it. Just clean this up a little bit first. I better fix this bit first, actually. Let's make my reference a little bit bigger. Pop. Really, when you're drawing from reference, your eye shouldn't even really leave what you're drawing. If that makes any sense. You shouldn't really be looking at your page. You should be looking at the reference the whole time, just glancing down every now and then. Thing there, didn't even notice. Alright, this is annoying me. Let's get this right. Again, if you're still not looking right, just move on and then come back to it. It's normally easier to get these kind of things right when you start painting, rather than just overthinking it, just being stuck on an area for... All it is just your mind not seeing it the way it is. That's why flipping the canvas works, because you're looking at it from almost like a different... It's almost like a different painting to your brain, even though it is the same painting. Okay, let's add in a few more little details that I can see. Boom, boom, boom. It's kind of divided up into sections. There's lots of panel work going on. Forget the little thing on the end. Boop. Radar underneath, I assume. No idea. So cool the way the wings just extend back, and then they can come outwards as well, like a conventional plane. Super cool. Absolute nerd, mate. Okay. May add some paint in a second. Alright, there's our sketch. Oh, just spotted another mistake. Alright, here's our sketch. Right, let's get messy. Let's get a nice painterly brush. Greg Rakowski brushes. Boom, look at them. So I'm going to change the colour scheme up. Like some greyish colours. Greyish, bluish. Let's put on some colour dynamics. If you see here, it's going to change hue. There you go, look. How cool is that? You'll see how messy this is going to get. It's almost going to look like, what are you doing? But it all makes sense. Hopefully. Blend it. Oh, I love my Mac. If I was blending like this on my PC, there'd be trouble. There would be trouble. It'd be lagging like hell. Use a variety of different brushes. Right, now let's get our light grey. Block in. Our body of the plane. Just realised I haven't even stopped the video. What time we're at? 25 minutes. Let's just keep it going, shall we? Use as few brush strokes as possible. Don't worry if you go outside the lines. In fact, it's a good thing, except for if you just do it that bad. And now we are just looking at light and shadow. So the lightest part is on the top side. We've got some light coming straight down from above. I may even make this background a little bit darker. Well, a lot darker. So we've got a nice contrast. Don't worry about going over what you've already done. This is how you get the painterly look, my friends. You always have your sketch on another layer. Right, let's go back in. I always heard from artists like use as few brush strokes as possible at first, I guess, because to obviously render soft edges you need a lot of brush strokes to do it. So I didn't really understand that, but I think this kind of painting, more impressionistic, you don't really want to be using too many brush strokes. I guess that's what they were saying. So I'm going to try that. But there you go. Alright, let's start to build up some form. I may even use a little airbrush for this actually. It's a little bit of a cheap brush, but who cares? We're having fun. Bring in a little bit more colour. The tail is mostly in shadow. Bring in a bit more colour. Normally you get the most colour in your shadows, so make sure to bump up the saturation when painting shadows. This kind of painting, this is all you're looking at. You're just dividing the image up into light and shadow. No detail. Just light and shadow. Bit of sky blue, screw it. Smudge it about some more. Don't ever remove the sketch at this stage. This is a nice brush. Let's use this for a bit. Right, now we've zoomed in a little bit more. Let's start to flesh this bad boy out. What helps is like painting with the shape of the thing you're painting, so it goes round like that. So I have my brush strokes do that as well. Light. Oh no, I just realised I'm painting on the sketch layer. Oh well. Darken that up too much. So always make it nice and contrasty. So we've got a dark bit there, so let's contrast that with some light around the outside. Around the outside. Good little bit of advice to make your illustrations pop. I know it looks a bit naff at the minute, but this is the ugly part of the painting. Every painting goes through an ugly part, trust me. But this is what's going to fundamentally make it look nice and painterly. Because all this roughness at the start will still be there. But you just slowly build up some detail. Chaos to control. And all the roughness underneath will add to the overall look of the painting. And that's how you get that nice painterly look. Let's do a bit of smudging. Actually starting to look like a proper illustration now. What I might do is just merge the sketch down, and then I think I'm going to crop it. Maybe that's a little bit too close to the edge. And then I might put a bit of a tilt on it as well. Yeah, why not? I'm going to do some subtle value work here. So turn my opacity right down. I'm just gonna try not to ruin the underneath of the painting. Kinda just did that already. Oh well. Bring it back in. contour lines. There's a lot of soft edges on this. That kind of goes almost to yellow there. Yeah. Maybe the nose cone's got like a slightly yellow tinge to it. And we're going to start to lose that sketch underneath pretty soon. Shadow. More. Start to bring in some purple tones now. There's like a nice high value edge where the sun's just hitting off the edge of the wing there. And that will contrast against the dark on the outside. And bring it around that way. A little bit there as well, just bouncing off. And then there's some there. This is when it really starts to come to life. Very enjoyable part of the process. Painting in the light. And there's some the same here. And again as well, like I remember when I was young, I would just be like zoomed right in, trying to get everything exactly right, which is fine. But the best way to do it is like I'm doing it now, is just start, it's more relaxing that way. Just start really roughly. And then at the end, get right in there. Do every single little detail that you want. But you've got to be careful, because it will lose that nice painterly look that most people look for in a painting. Because a painting, it's, I know there is like realism, like realists or whatever, and the goal is to make it look like a photograph, but for me personally, I don't really see the point in doing that. I like paintings that you can see the brush strokes, and there's bits that just aren't even detailed at all. They look a bit rough and ready. I just think there's more life to them. Like to me, this looks better than like already than like a highly detailed version of the same thing. I'd just rather it be bit more loose. Saying that, I'll probably detail this up later and then it will end up looking exactly like the photo I'm drawing. It's hard to know when to stop sometimes. When is a painting finished? Start to kind of bring up a little bit of detail. Just get the light shining off there. It's like a purple. here. Try and get a soft edge, just really light on the stylus. That's why it helps to turn the opacity down a little bit. If your tablet isn't the best, like mine, it doesn't have very good sensitivity, so sometimes you can't really press that light, so you need to turn the opacity down. Bring that up a little bit. That's looking pretty cool. Me likey. Oh. There's a guy outside that walks past my window and he goes, it's disgusting. It's like the same time every day as well. Absolute Herbert. I can actually smudge this and then creates a sense of speed. May have just ruined it, but screw it. We've done it. Right, so this wing needs to lighten up. Same with that bit there. Start to bring up these values. Starting to see all the different colours in this. There's like lots of purple dotted around. That's quite a nice edge, I like that. Nice smooth edge. See, look, you can definitely see how the tail doesn't look right now it's painted. It's just in the wrong position, that's all. Right, let's bring in these shadows a little bit more. So that is more or less mostly shadow. There. There. Got more shadow there. It's the top of the tail that's creating a shadow as it's casting down onto the wing. Bring this up. Nice and light. This is when you can start using overlay layers and stuff like that, which I'll show in a second. Just to kind of work on the values without losing the detail underneath. Bum, bum, bum. Looks a little bit. Ooh. Less green and more orange, please. Smudge it. Work on this background a little bit more. Try and actually make sense. What exactly is this? Is this cloud? I think so. Oops. I need to remove that shortcut. I keep hitting it accidentally. Stupid pen. Right. I'm going to start working with some different layers now. If you notice, up until now, literally just been a single layer. Well, up until in a second. Before I do that though, I think I'm going to do some liquefy. How long are we at? Only 50 minutes. It's not bad going. Right. Stupid tail. Still having problems with it. To come out more. Ding, ding, ding. That needs to be at more of an angle. That as well. This out. You'll see me start to shift my head back. It's just so I can get like a, when I'm making minor adjustments, just helps. This entire thing is bent. Just realised. How did I not notice that before? You know how to check it. Flip the canvas. Just noticed a critical error. So that comes down at this angle. Follows that line there. Oh, I forgot to put in the engines. Just drop them in there. Very roughly. A little bit of light. I need a new brush. This brush sucks. This one. A little bit of light there. A little bit of light there. Engine. Right, so there's a mistake. The angle's still a little bit off the back of the tail there. And then out this way. And then there. Cool, I think that's it. Bum, bum, bum. Cool. Right, I was going to use some overlay layers now, weren't I? In a second. Right, so new layer. Multiply for your darks. So let's turn the opacity right down. And now we can start increasing these values without losing the detail underneath. Which is very useful. Again, we're still pretty much really loose with this. Not really detailing at all. It's too dark. Nice. See the contrast between the light and the dark there? Very cool. Alright, now we'll do the same but with an overlay layer, so that's for our lights. Now we can bring up anything light without affecting the dark too much, so very useful tools. It's kind of like using color dodge but less dramatic. Let's bring that up there. Nice bit of contrast. Save it. F-14 sketch. sketch. I'm gonna call it quits in a second for this video, and then continue it another day. Let it go for a couple more minutes. Let's just tidy up some parts. So this is kind of like the detail phase now. We're starting to zoom in, starting to really flesh out these shapes. The majority of the painting is done. Detailing is just the cherry on top. I mean, detailing's important, but if you've got a crappy composition underneath, things that don't quite work, then detailing will not save it. Wow, this bit's hard. Right. I like this shade of blue. Something about that nose that doesn't really look right. Liquify. Needs more of a needs to actually be shortened quite a bit as well. Oh, that's a lot better. Needs to be at more of an angle. Do the old flippity. Back still doesn't look right, does it? I'll get there. Again, this is still the ugly phase of a painting. First hours normally, you're thinking, oh my god, what am I doing? This sucks. All part of the process. And again, my target was to do a nice messy, painterly image. And I think I've achieved that. So I'm happy. Bring in some of these little yellow details on the end of the wing there. Probably too dark, the shadow of the tail there, so let's bring it up slightly. It's a little bit yellow, it's weird. That's the thing, when you're not colour picking, you start to be able to recognise colours a lot easier, obviously, but it's a good practice to get in. Don't want to be too reliant on tools, as I always say. Let's tighten up. Shadow. Start to tighten these edges up. Little bits of light reflecting off the flaps there. Flaps. I'm so immature. Right, let's get rid of this pen mark. I keep saying, yeah, I'll stop it there, but I never do I? I will stop it in a second though, because I'm starving. Literally, what do I do for a job? I paint. What do I do when I'm not working? I paint. What a loser. Nah, if you love doing something, that's what it takes. You've got to do what most people aren't willing to do. And it comes at a sacrifice. And you've got to not be lazy. Because I didn't even really want to do this, but I thought, screw it. Let's get started and then see how it goes. And here I am, an hour later. Still painting this sucker. We're even going into detail now. Putting in some panel work, son. Something weird's going on there. Split that up. Break it up. Shadow. Boom. That's better. Let's contrast this bit of light with some dark. Bring up the values of that engine a little bit. Start adding little bits of panel work details. Dun, dun, dun. We're making some very strange faces right now. I'm very tired. Okay, that'll do for today. I like that. Pretty cool. Alright, so I'm going to detail this bad boy up in another day. And then link the finished piece at the end of this video. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed painting along and listening to my nonsense. See you in the next vid.